The slap echoed so loudly that everyone outside the bank stopped walking. The old beggar staggered backwards. His walking stick slipped from his hand. His aluminium cup crashed onto the pavement, and the few coins inside rolled into the gutters. For a moment, no one moved. No one helped him. More than 100 people simply watched. Then the old man slowly lifted his eyes towards the man who had slapped him, smiled, and quietly said, "May God forgive you." The crowd burst into laughter. Nobody knew that those would become the most expensive words anyone had ever spoken outside that bank. Let's get into the story. Every city has someone everyone thinks they know. The madman who talks to himself. The woman who sells roasted corn at the same junction every evening. The old mechanic whose workshop has stood on the same street for 40 years. And in Ashbridge City, everyone knew the old beggar who sat outside Crown Trust Bank. No one knew when he first appeared. It was as if one morning he simply walked into the city, spread an old wrapper beneath the giant rain tree opposite the bank, and decided that would become his place in the world. The first thing people noticed was his silence. Unlike every other beggar, he never stretched out his hands. He never chased after expensive cars. He never cried for help. He never sang. He never pretended to be sick. He simply sat quietly with an old aluminum cup resting beside him and watched the world go by. Sometimes, people dropped coins into his cup. Sometimes, they ignored him. Sometimes, children greeted him on their way to school, and he greeted each one with the same warm smile that someone made them smile back. Adults were different. Most adults never looked at his face. Some crossed the road to avoid walking near him. Others covered their noses as if poverty itself carried an unpleasant smell. The security guards at Crown Trust Bank disliked him almost immediately. Not because he caused trouble. He never did. They disliked him because wealthy customers complained about seeing him every morning. One customer even said, "How can I trust a bank that allows beggar to decorate its entrance?" The complaint eventually reached the branch manager, Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond was a man who judged people within seconds. He believed a person's clothes revealed their value. To him, success deserved respect, poverty deserved suspicion. The first time he saw the old man, he frowned. "Who allowed him to stay here?" One of the guards answered nervously, "Sir, he sits across the road. We chase him away, but he always comes back." Mr. Raymond stared through the glass entrance. "I don't care where he sits. I don't want to see him when my customers arrive." That afternoon, two guards crossed the road. One kicked the old man's cup aside. The other pointed towards the next street. "You heard the manager. Leave." The old man quietly picked up his cup. "I am not blocking the road," he said. "We don't care. You make this place look dirty." Without arguing, without complaining, the old man stood, bowed his head politely, and walked away. 20 minutes later, he returned to the exact same spot. The guards couldn't believe it. "You again?" The old man smiled gently. "This tree gives good shade," he said. One guard shook his head. "I have never seen anyone as stubborn as you." The old man chuckled softly. "My son, everyone is stubborn about something." That answer confused the guard so much that he simply walked away. Within weeks, the old beggar became part of the street itself. Some owners expected to see him every morning. Bus drivers greeted him with a wave. School children smiled at him. Even stray dogs often slept beside him as if they trusted him. Only one employee inside the bank ever spoke to him kindly. His name was Daniel. Daniel worked as a cleaner. His salary barely covered the rent for the one-room apartment where he lived with his widowed mother and younger sister. Some months after paying bills, there wasn't enough money left to buy meat. Yet, every morning before work, Daniel stopped at a roadside bakery. He bought one loaf for himself and another for the old man. The first time he handed it over, the old man looked surprised. "You don't have much yourself." Daniel smiled. My mother says kindness isn't measured by how much you have. It's measured by what you are willing to share. The old man accepted the bread with both hands. Then, for the first time, his eyes filled with tears. You sound just like someone I used to know. Daniel wanted to ask who he meant, but before he could speak, the old man quietly changed the topic. What do you hope to become one day? He asked. Daniel laughed. I studied accounting. I have applied for promotions 3 times. No luck. Maybe one day I'll sit inside those offices instead of cleaning them. The old man looked towards the top floor of the bank, then back at Daniel. Never stop believing that doors can open. Daniel smiled politely. He assumed the old man was simply trying to encourage him. He never imagined that those words carried a meaning far deeper than either of them knew. And while Daniel saw an old beggar, the old man had already begun quietly studying every single person who walked inside Crown Trust Bank. Daniel couldn't explain why he felt drawn to the old man. Perhaps it was the way he spoke. Perhaps it was the calmness in his eyes. Or perhaps it was because, unlike everyone else on that busy street, the old man never complained about his situation. Every morning before work, Daniel would stop at Mama Boss's roadside kiosk and buy 2 loaves of bread and 2 cups of tea. One for himself, one for the old man. You make yourself poor feeding me, the old man said one morning with a gentle smile. Daniel laughed. I don't have enough money to become poor. The old man chuckled. Then you are already richer than many people. Daniel frowned. I don't understand. One day you will, he replied. The old man always answered difficult questions that way. One day you will. It became his favorite sentence. Weeks turned into months. Their conversations grew longer. Daniel learned that the old man loved reading newspapers. Every morning after work, Daniel left yesterday's newspaper beside him before heading home. By sunrise the next morning, every page has been neatly folded. One morning, Daniel noticed several figures written in the margins with a tiny pencil. Large numbers, percentages, business calculations. He looked surprised. You understand finance? The old man quietly folded the newspaper. A little, he replied. You studied accounting? The old man smiled. I have studied people much longer than numbers. Again, another mysterious answer. Daniel laughed. You never answer questions directly. If I answered everything directly, the old man replied, life would become boring. Daniel shook his head. You really are strange. The old man replied, I have been called worse. Inside Crown Trust Bank, life was becoming increasingly difficult. Mr. Raymond, the branch manager, ruled the office with fear instead of respect. Junior employees trembled whenever he walked past. He shouted over the smallest mistakes. He insulted cleaners in front of customers. Even security guards tried to avoid him whenever possible. To him, kindness was weakness. Fear produced results. One afternoon, an elderly widow entered the bank carrying a small envelope. She had come to withdraw money for her husband's medical treatment. After waiting nearly 3 hours, she finally reached the customer service desk. Unfortunately, she had forgotten one document. The young officer politely explained the situation. The woman began to cry. My husband is dying. I only need parts of the money. Before the officer could respond, Mr. Raymond walked over. What is the delay? He asked. The officer explained. Mr. Raymond looked at the elderly woman with complete indifference. No complete documents, no withdrawal, he said. The woman folded her hands together. Please, sir, I came from another town. I don't have transport fare to go back. Mr. Raymond pointed towards the exit. Rules are rules. Next customer. Daniel watched everything from across the banking hall. That evening, he told the old man what had happened. The old man remained silent for a long time. Finally, he asked quietly, did anyone help the woman? Daniel lowered his head. No. The old man closed his eyes. That is the real poverty. Daniel looked confused. The lack of money? The old man slowly shook his head. No, the lack of compassion. The following morning, something unexpected happened. Daniel arrived to find the old man speaking with two street children. One child school bag was torn almost beyond repair. The old man reached into his one shoulder bag. Instead of pulling out food, he brought out a small sewing kit. Patiently, carefully, he repaired the torn bag himself. When he finished, it looked almost new. Daniel smiled. "I didn't know you could sew. There are many things you don't know." The children thanked him and ran happily toward school. The old man watched them disappear before quietly whispering, "Children deserve hope." Daniel noticed something else. Whenever the old man thought nobody was watching, he would look towards the upper floors of the bank, not with anger, not with envy, almost with sadness, as though the building reminded him of someone he had once loved. Daniel wanted to ask why, but every time he tried, he changed his mind. Some questions felt too personal. One Friday afternoon, heavy rain flooded the streets. Customers rushed inside the bank to avoid getting soaked. The old man remained beneath the tree, completely drenched. Daniel hurried outside carrying an old umbrella. "Baba, you will fall sick." The old man smiled. "I have survived worse storms." Daniel insisted. "No, come under the shelter." Just then, Mr. Raymond walked outside. The moment he saw the old man standing beneath the bank entrance to escape the rain, his face darkened. "What is he doing here?" Daniel answered. "It's raining heavily, sir. I only brought him under the roof." Mr. Raymond's voice echoed across the entrance. "Take him away! Now!" "Sir, I said now." Customers turned to wash. Daniel hesitated. The old man gently touched his shoulder. "It's all right." He stepped back into the pouring rain. Within seconds, his clothes were soaked again. Daniel felt ashamed. Ashamed that nobody had spoken up. Ashamed that people simply watched. As the old man slowly crossed the road, a black luxury sedan approached the traffic lights nearby. The expensive car stopped for barely 30 seconds. Its tinted windows lowered halfway. No one paid attention. No one except Daniel. The driver spoke quietly to the old man. The old man leaned slightly towards the window. The conversation lasted less than 10 seconds. Then the window closed. The traffic light turned green. The luxury car drove away. The old man calmly returned to his usual place beneath the tree as though nothing had happened. Daniel frowned. "Who was that?" The old man smiled. "A man asking for directions." Daniel accepted the answer, but something about it didn't feel right. The following week brought even greater tension inside the bank. Rumors spread among the staff. Head office auditors had begun reviewing several large financial transactions. Senior executives visited unexpectedly. Managers held closed-doors meetings. Employees whispered in corridors. Nobody knew exactly what was happening. Only one thing was certain. Mr. Raymond had become even more aggressive. He barked orders at everyone, stayed late every night, and constantly made phone calls behind locked office doors. One evening, Daniel finished cleaning the manager's office long after everyone else had gone home. As he emptied the waste basket, a flooded piece of paper slipped onto the floor. Without thinking, he picked it up. Before he could read it, Mr. Raymond suddenly entered. His face changed instantly. "Put that down." Daniel apologized and handed it over. The manager snatched the paper from him. His hands were trembling. For the first time, Daniel saw fear in Mr. Raymond's eyes. Real fear. That night, as Daniel walked home, he couldn't stop thinking about everything that had happened. The mysterious old man, the expensive car, the strange calculations in the newspaper, the auditors, the frightened manager. None of it seemed connected, yet somehow he felt every piece belonged to the same puzzle. He simply hadn't discovered the picture yet. And that is the end of part 1. If you love this story and you want to continue watching, you want part 2, drop it in the comment section. I promise I'll be back with part 2.